What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're talking passports, but first off, on this channel we talk about travel, exploration, and photography. If this sounds like something interesting to you, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you can get future updates on my videos. Okay, I'm going to show you 5 easy steps on how to get a passport. So the first thing that you need to think about is the fact, do you need a passport? And if you travel within the US, you don't need a passport. I always recommend getting a passport anyway. And the reason for that is once you get a passport, then you start thinking about, oh, you know what, I'd like to travel here, I'd like to travel there. So if you don't have a passport, you don't really have the option to travel. You don't, not outside of the country, because you need a passport, right? So if you do go ahead, go through the process that I'll show you here, get your passport, you'll start thinking about, oh yeah, you know what, I could go to Canada. You might start off small, Canada, Mexico. Then you'll start branching out and you think, okay, well, maybe I should go to Europe, or maybe I should go to Thailand or something like that. But getting your passport is kind of that first thing that you need to do. Once you have that, then you can start looking to other things. Okay, so the next thing we need to talk about is how much does it cost to get a passport? So if you're going to get a new passport, on the travel.state.gov website, they kind of lay out exactly what it would cost for you to get a passport. So if you're on their website, you just click on we'll start from the beginning here. So we'll click on the website. It's going to say, get a US passport. Click on that. Then you move down here and then you're going to see how much does it cost. Click the fee there. You have a fee calculator. You can click on the fee calculator. You can type in all your information and it will show you exactly how much it costs to get a passport. So let's fill out this fee calculator so you can see exactly how much it costs. So we'll put US here. We can just put an arbitrary birth date here. It doesn't have to be anything accurate. For you, obviously, you're going to need to make it accurate, but in this case, we don't. So let's just put just any date here. Yeah, I was born in 60. Sounds good. So we just click on that. Date there. We'll make a date January 6th. So have you ever had a US passport? We can say no, and then click next. Now it's going to pull up the passport book, passport card, or passport book and card. So if you want the passport book and card, it's $140. I recommend just getting the passport. I got the passport book and a passport card. I never use that passport card. The passport card is for sea travel and land travel. So let's say you live in Southern California and you want to go down to Mexico, go down to Tijuana. You can walk across the border using that card. If I want to go to Canada, I can walk across the border and use that card. But at any air travel, you're going to need your actual passport book. You can't use a passport card. So just keep that in mind. If you're going on cruises, you can also use a passport card. There are certain countries that will accept, like if you're at sea, that will accept the passport card, but not all countries do. So you need to be aware of that as well. But my recommendation, passport book works everywhere. So why not get what works everywhere? You don't need to get the additional one. Unless you live right near the border and you do a lot of crossing over the border, then you would probably want to get a passport card. But other than that, there's really no, the only other thing that I can see is if you have a passport card, it's another form of ID. So it's another government issued ID that you can use for purposes like that. Okay, so once we're on here, let's just click passport book. It's $110. So we'll click on that. Okay, so the next screen that pulls up here is the standard, expedited, or expedited at agency processing. So the standard, no fee. It's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, and you'll get your passport. The expedited is $60, and that's 2 to 3 weeks. And then you have another expedited here where you're going through the agency processing, and that will cost $60 as well. But that's 8 business days. Now, in the 8 business days, you have to show that you're going to be traveling in the near future in order to meet that qualification. Let's go ahead and click on standard, and then standard delivery, or you can get 1 to 2 day delivery. In my situation, just standard delivery. That's fine. So now that I come all the way down here, it's pretty much going to show me exactly what I owe. And in this situation, it's going to be $145. So that's how much I will owe. So that's what I'll write my check out for, $145. So now that I know this information, I can go ahead and move forward and go to the next step. Okay, so step number 3 is you need to get a picture. So what I do is I just go to a local copy center. In this case, I went to a UPS store and I had my picture taken. They'll give you 2 pictures, or 2 inch by 2 inch, and that will be what you need for your passport. Now, if you want to take your own picture, you can do that. but there are certain things that you need to consider when taking a picture. One of them is you can't do one of these. You can't do a selfie. That is it's not gonna pass when it comes to getting your passport. And they have some other criteria on here. I will post a link in the description so you guys can check out the website. And they do show you some other stuff on here as far as what to do and what not to do. So this picture right here is fine. The picture right next to it here, you can see that's not a good picture. It's underexposed. This picture here, the white balance is off, so it's showing that blue tint. And then you have the normal picture here. This is fine. Then you have this picture here where you have that big shadow in the background. So that's a distraction, and that will not qualify. So it's just easiest to go in and take the picture. It costs, I think this costs $14. So it's anywhere between $10 and $15 to get your picture taken. And then you'll have one additional one too, which you can't really use, I guess, because you're only going to need to use one. So you send one in, then you keep the other one. And the picture obviously has to be an updated picture. You can't take a picture from 10 years ago, like have a picture from 10 years ago and make it 2x2 and then send it in. You want to have a recent picture. Okay, so step number 4, we want to talk about forms. So there's a specific form that you need to fill out for a new application, and it's DS11. So this DS11 form is what you're going to fill out. Now they have two options here. The first option says form filler, and what that does is you click on that and then you just fill out the form online, and then at the very end you generate a PDF file, and when you generate that PDF file you can print that out. It has all the information on there. I highly recommend using the form filler because it will show you where you need to input all the information. So if there's information that has to be on there, it will show you that it has to be on there. Now, if you try to skip ahead, it's not going to allow you to skip ahead. So it's almost a fail-safe. So you make sure that all the things that you need to put in, you put in. The next form is just a PDF. So I can print out a PDF, it's blank, and then I can fill in all the information. So I handwrite all the information in there myself. So that's the way you fill out the forms. Once you've filled out the form, and if you do the form filler, it spits everything out. You have your form in front of you, and then you can move on to the next step. So step number 5, you need to find out where to go. So you have your birth certificate, you have a photo ID, you have the proper documentation, and you have your check, your picture. So now let's find out where we're going. So on this, you just look at, if you want to just do the 4 to 6 weeks, this is where you click. Now, if you have other requirements, let's say you want to do expedited, then these are the facilities. And then less than 3 weeks, then this is the facility. So it's pretty easy. Okay, so now we're on this screen. We can go ahead and click the zip code, and then I can click the state if it will allow me to do that. Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to do that. Now, you could do photo on site. So if I want to click photo on site, I don't have to worry about taking the picture myself or going to a copy center or anything like that. I can get the photo taken there. So that's another option. It can save you some time. So click photo on site, click search, and then it will open up all these different places that are in your area so you can go and get your passport taken care of that way. So it's pretty easy. When it comes to your ID, you are going to need to take a picture of the front and back of your ID, and you're going to need to bring in your birth certificate. They do take your birth certificate, but they will mail that birth certificate back to you, so you'll have all your documents in order once you get everything back. And that's it. It's simple as that. All you need to do is go through those steps. You pay the $145. And you are ready to go. You're going to be getting your passport within 4 to 6 weeks, and then you can start thinking about travel. And I know when I got my passport, that's when I started really thinking about, oh, I can go here and I can go there. And it's kind of like when I was a kid and you get a bike for the first time and you realize you have more freedom to go further. Like when I was a kid, before I had a bike, before I had a skateboard, I was just playing in the front yard. Then you get your skateboard, you get a bike, and then now you're riding all down the neighborhood, going to friends' houses and all that. And then you get to the point where you get a car, and now you're driving to all these different destinations. So you just kind of branch out further and further. When you get a passport, it's the same way, because you get that passport and you feel the same. You're like, I can go here, I can go there. And you start planning travel. So I highly recommend getting a passport because it makes you think about going places. And plus, if you spend $145, or $110 or however much it costs to get the passport, it's an investment, right? So you want to start thinking, okay, well, I paid this money for this card. I have it for 10 years. I might as well use it. So something to think about. If you guys have any questions, please post in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.